Now, our personality for the day, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from this break, she walks with a whole lot of address. Sometimes you don't even know which one to start with because she's so huge in all the shoes that she wears, but she does so effortlessly. Right after this break, we'll let you in on our personality for the day.
Coming up on the Upside Down Show, we will be sitting with a powerhouse, a woman king, a politician, an advocate for women, a queen, and many more you will be finding out. Brigitte Dzogbenuku. With her will be Kwame Shelter, a thought-provoking poet, and one of Ghana's fast-rising pencil artists, Abednego Odoipoti.
Welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show, proudly brought to you by Sky Mineral Water. Now, this woman that we are going to be talking to, she's done so much. Now, when you hear her talk about her journey, you will understand what exactly we are talking about. Now, you remember back then when, with no disrespect to the beauty queens today, but back then when you hear Miss Ghana, it was such a huge deal because we didn't really have all the other pageants and all that. Yeah. Now, it looks a bit diluted because we have so many beauty pageants around, But
I don't feel it's been diluted. I just feel now they have a lot of competition.
I'm not actually even talking about Miss Ghana. I'm talking about pageants in general.
Right.
You remember back then where we just used to have GTV. Yeah. So, when you are going to watch TV.
It was actually a special occasion for the entire family because you gather around as a family to watch Miss Ghana.
Absolutely. And it was a reward, to be of good behavior and all that. So you get to watch, and that was when, it looks like now, if you don't make it to Miss Ghana, you can get a certain Miss something, you can get Miss something. But back then, if you did not make it to Miss Ghana, you had to wait another year before you could make it. Now, to be among the top, that was when we had the 10 regions. So to be to even represent your region was such a big deal.
You're sending me down memory lane.
Oh yeah. So for you to be the overall, it was next to be the president, because we loved what we saw. And this woman is a beauty queen.
Oh yes, she is.
And I mean, in all aspects of the word, literally, brain-wise, everything. And I'm not surprised because she's lived to prove that she's just not beautiful, but she had the brains to go with that as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And she's made it all the way to the top. She stayed at the top and she remains at the top with respect to all that she's doing.
Exactly.
Society, family, politics, entrepreneurship,
business,
economy.
everything.
Just name it. Just name it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome our guest for the day, Miss Brigitte Dzogbenuku.
Yeah.
So please come this way.
Welcome.
Yeah. Great.
It was me you were talking about.
It was you. No, we couldn't even say everything, because we will leave some for you to say.
If we decide to say everything, we will be left to do the show now. The time
exactly.
won't be enough.
So, well, thank you very much.
Yes. Now, to start with, how do we even call you? Honorable,
Brigitte.
Queen, businesswoman. Which one?
Brigitte.
Brigitte. Wow, so simple.
Which of the hats are you wearing today?
What was on my mind today when I left? Probably the entrepreneurial one. Because, yes, I think that's what was on my mind when I left home.
Great. Super. So, regardless, we will touch on every aspect of the journey to where we are now. So we have Brigitte, the beauty queen, Brigitte, the flag bearer, Brigitte, the entrepreneur. I mean, I'm sure the list will go on.
Brigitte, the mother.
Brigitte, the mother.
Brigitte, the sportswoman.
Can you imagine?
Brigitte, the mentor.
I'm just living life.
Brigitte, the columnist.
Yeah,
I'm just living life.
Some people are too blessed in this life, But it's grace.
Yes. And they say that, I don't see it... I haven't thought of it in all those ways until you mention it. And I must say, I'm just living life.
Yeah.
Whatever it is comes to me, and I must do it.
Yeah.
So that is it.
But we would want to know you more, growing up and what was putting you for you to be able to do all these things so easily? You know, when I met you at This Is Ghana, at your stand, I was like, wow, this woman is so simple. Look at the way she's just, I mean, dealing with everybody. And she is, you know, a former flag bearer. And she's so pleasant and all that. So we just want to know Brigitte, you know, before you became everything, you know, that we've spoken about now. Who are your parents? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? Do you have siblings?
Okay. So I grew up in a military home. My father was in the army. He passed away in 2011. He was a brigadier general.
Rest his soul.
But when I was born, I think he was a captain. Yes, he was a captain. He was a military attaché in the UK. So I was born in the UK, but in the Ghana mission, so I'm Ghanaian. In case when I go and run, somebody
no issues, no issues.
I'm not going to court.
She's Ghanaian through and through.
No dual citizenship.
No.
So I was born in the UK, but after 3 years, we moved back to Ghana. And because my father was in the military, we lived everywhere. We lived in Takoradi for a while. Those are very sketchy memories for me. But I remember my life from Tamale, nursery school in Tamale, and as we moved around the country. So I'm the last of 5. I have 3 brothers and a sister. My sister is the eldest and I'm the last. So as I said, my parents, my mother was a homekeeper for the most part.
So there's pictures on the screen?
Yes. So that's me doing a selfie with my sister and 2 brothers. My third brother is in the UK. Yes. So yes, and that's us, my parents and us. Both sons passed away. My mother passed away in 2021. My father in 2011. And yes.
So school.
So I did nursery school in Tamale, actually. I have very fond memories of nursery school.
You remember?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
I do. Thank God. I used to have very good memory. COVID did something on me, but I used to, there are certain things I remember very well. So I did nursery school in Tamale for probably a couple of years.
You remember the name of the school?
It was Kamina Barracks. So the nursery school in Kamina Barracks was there. I remember the nursery school was in a sort of community center. That is where we went to school. But that was where they would hold events. You know, it had a courtyard and the classrooms were around the courtyard. I remember that I say I'm going to write a book about the Barracks girl's life.
Oh, wow. So, that'll be interesting to read.
So, yes. So, I remember these things very vividly, how the classrooms were, how we were fed and all that.
How old were you?
I must have done primary school between ages 3 and 5.
And you remember this?
I remember things very clearly. Sometimes it amazes me. The spirit is telling me, right.
You should. You should. Yes.
Should be a good read.
I would love to do that.
Yes.
So
and
now that I've said it on TV, I'd better
you have to, because in the next 1 year we'll come back and remind you.
Yes.
Right. So from nursery.
So from nursery, after I finished for class 1, my father was transferred to Accra. So we moved to Burma camp. We lived in a place called Juba Ridge. We lived next door to Kwame Sefa Kain. He wasn't called Kwame Sefa Kain then, but anyway.
What was he called?
we just called him Sefa. Yeah, those of us who know him from long call him Sefa. Yes. So we were next door to each other in Juba Ridge, and we would walk to school. I was in Kotoka Primary. No, I wasn't in Kotoka Primary at the time. Initially, you know, the barracks education system was in a way that where there was space, they put you. So I think the class 1, we must have been a lot. So I couldn't go to the same school with my siblings. They took me to Forces Primary School for the first term. It was far away from home at the time. Now when I drive through Burma camp, I'm thinking, how far was this? But for a 5, 6 year old, it must have been far. So I didn't used to get home early. And one day I got home quite late and my father got upset. He said, what took you so long? And I said, I was walking. And he said, well, you know, we can't have you there walking back home. So they took me to Complex, which or what they call Burma Camp Primary. And then I did class 2nd term and 3rd term in that school. which was close to Kotoka Primary, where my brothers were. So we would walk to school together. I keep saying that the first traffic lights I saw were in Burma Camp.
Wow.
And we used to just be fascinated standing there and seeing traffic lights change. And after that, my father was transferred again after class 1 to Takrady to be the commanding officer of the 2nd Battalion of the country. And I think that my growing up in the barracks, those were some of my best years. Maybe, because my father was CEO, but Takrady was just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It rained all the time. It was green. It was a nice community in the barracks. You know, we knew each other. They had events and activities. Sometimes people from the town would come into the barracks. So I did class 2, class 3, class 4 in Services Primary. There they used to call it stage. So it was stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 in Services Primary. And then class 5, my father was transferred back to Accra to head the military academy. No, initially he was a directing staff, so he was a lecturer, a teacher. So we came back with him, and then we moved back into Burma Camp. And it's interesting, the army life, because as you move, people move with you. So there are people you see in Tamale, and then you come back to Accra
and they are
after going back somewhere, and then they are
They
your
come
neighbors
back,
again.
Yeah.
So this would be said for the family, the Adaicheme family, who were their father was a chaplain, and they lived next to us, and when they moved, the Fuamwenings moved next to us. Yes, and the Fuamwenings we were with in Takrady, so it was just a nice community. So yes, we moved there. And even in Burma Camp, we moved to a different house, you know, after 1 year. And then my father was made the commandant of the military academy. So then we moved to Teshi. You know, there's a barracks in Teshi, which is a whole institution. So we moved there, and that is where my childhood as a child in the barracks ended, because I did class 5 and class 6 in Kotoka Primary, but from living in the military academy. And then I went to Form 1. And of course, when you go to boarding school, you spend more time in school. At the time, you spent more time in boarding school than at home. And then my father was posted again to head the Ghana Armed Forces Staff College. But it was the same, it was just next door. So we moved from one house to the other. And before that, he went to the US, was sent to the US to take part he was enrolled in a course at the Army War College in the US. And I was the only child privileged to go with him. Yes, so I did a year of high school in the US, in Pennsylvania. And I am proud to say I am still in touch with 2 of my teachers.
Wow.
One on Facebook, and one I have actually seen twice since I went to Boston.
That's nice.
And she was my favorite teacher, called Miss Rabla, Laurie Rabla. And then I came back. I was in Wesley Girls. I went to Form 1 in Wesley Girls. I came back and then continued with my mates. So I didn't do Form 2 here, but I came back to Form 3. Mrs. Achampo, my mentor, my mother now, was gracious enough to say, let's continue and let's see how you do. So I did Form 5, wrote my O-levels, and went back to do 6th Form, and then went to University of Ghana.
Super. What did you study in University of Ghana?
I did languages. So when I went to first year, I did English, French, and Swahili. And I combined French and Swahili for my
Can you speak
degree.
Swahili?
I speak Swahili very well. I don't speak French that well, but I speak Swahili.
Wow.
Kama Swahili, as I say, like a Swahili person.
Wow.
Look, if I could speak Swahili, I don't think I'll communicate with anybody in English, trust me. Wow.
So, it's interesting. Yes, 2 days ago, I walked into Kingdom Books. I was going to buy something, and there was a Kenyan man standing there, and he was on the phone. And when he finished, I said hello in Swahili, you know.
How do you say that?
Habari yako.
Habari yako.
Habari yako.
Okay.
Wow.
You can say, the tourist one is Jambo.
Jambo. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I say Jambo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, but proper Swahili,
Yeah.
Habari yako.
But you're showing powers, you don't say jumbo.
So I said it, and he looked at me, and he responded, and I said, Karibu. And he said Asante, but he was rushing off. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he sat in that car very confused,
who
and I
is
was
that?
happy. I was happy to
You
leave
left
him
him like
confused.
that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So, but wait, what did that mean? Karibu and Asante.
Karibu is welcome.
Welcome.
So anytime anybody walks in, you can say Karibu. Karibu is welcome.
And the response is Asante.
Asante. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Our own Asante is thank you somewhere.
Yes, your own. And so many things, that there are so many words, some of them you don't want to use in Swahili because the meanings are just, yes. But the Asante, when it's written, really is A-H-S-A-N-T-E. Asante.
Okay. So after University of Ghana, what did you do?
So after University of Ghana, I did my national service at ELF. Initially.
Okay.
Well, after sixth form, those days we used to do, those days sound so far away. We used to do
national service twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
So after sixth form, I did my national service in Teshi cluster of schools.
Okay.
Near the beach.
As a teacher?
As a teacher.
Okay.
I taught French.
Ooh.
I taught French. It was very difficult.
So it's like developed a love for languages at a tender age?
I probably did, because I speak Twi very well.
Okay.
I speak Ewe, of course. I don't speak Ghana very well.
Okay.
I try. I mean, after my association with Accra Lawn Tennis Club, these days I'm quite...
Okay.
I have a good arsenal of vocabulary. But yes, I love languages. I like to take them apart and see how they are made up.
Right.
So yeah, please go on.
So yes, after sixth form, I taught French, because I did French in sixth form at the for national service at the Teshi cluster of schools. It was interesting because I didn't speak much Ga at the time.
Yeah.
These young people I was teaching didn't speak much English.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to teach them a third language, French.
Yeah.
It was a challenge, but it was a daily challenge that
Wow.
I enjoyed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So after that, after university, I did my national service at Elf Oil, which has now become Total, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Or is it more Total?
Total.
Yes. I enjoyed that too. I went there because I suppose I was posted there because of the French. But I went into sales and I sold bitumen. So some bitumen for road construction. Initially when I went, I was supposed to be in the training HR thing, but I slowly drifted to marketing and sales. And ELF had just started this sale of bitumen in the trucks. You know, the trucks that spread the bitumen as the road is being constructed. So basically, we used to arrange for it to come from Takrady.
Okay.
And I was just a liaison really between the people the contractors and the Takrady
You know,
plants.
you appear, for want of a better word, a fragile woman. Not that you are weak, no, not that.
Okay.
You know, like a woman, you know, a lady and all that. But it looks like within you, there's some kind of strength, some kind of masculinity stuff in you.
Yes, you're right. I was born in the barracks.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in the barracks. So
Goes to
the
explain a
barracks
lot.
life is, you know, you jump on trucks
You know,
to
sometimes,
take you to
sometimes
school.
you see certain ladies, and when they tell you they do this, they do that,
Exactly.
you are not
I'm a
surprised.
sportswoman.
You know,
Yes, you,
but
you don't see them in that light.
But you don't look at you look the beauty queen who can't do certain things.
On the contrary.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, I am not, you know, I very few times I get made up like this. I'm not I don't do the glam.
Yeah.
I was a tomboy. I came after 3 boys.
Yeah.
They taught me to run, ride bicycles, jump.
Yeah.
You know, I played with them.
But you're naturally beautiful, so the
Thank
woman
you.
in you really
Exactly, yeah.
shows so much.
Thank
you know.
you.
And I'm surprised you were selling bitumen because
And that's interesting because whilst I was there, it brings me to my next point. Whilst I was there selling bitumen, a gentleman called Alex Bamfo called me one day. So because of Miss Ghana, I didn't talk about Miss Ghana.
we'll come to Miss Ghana.
Okay. So because of Miss Ghana, after university, I did an advert for Ghana Social Marketing Foundation.
Okay.
I think some men used to work there too.
GSMF.
GSMF.
Yeah.
And then Alex Bamfo poached me or wanted to poach me for my next job, which was SC Johnson.
Okay.
Johnson Wax at the time it was called. And he asked me, and I was unsure. I was skeptical. Why should I leave ELF? ELF wanted to take me on. They were going to make me sell bitumen, you know. And then he was saying, come and learn how to build a brand and, you know, grow. And I wasn't seeing young. I was saying mature.
Yeah.
So he said, what's a beautiful woman like you doing selling black things like bitumen?
Yeah.
So when you say that,
I mean, so I'm not the only person,
yes,
saying that.
But for me, it was learning and it was interesting. It was new, and I have found over the years that I like to start things and see it grow. You know, and that was the challenge for me. But so I left ELF and I went after my national service. I went to SC Johnson for about two years. I was a brand manager.
Okay.
I learned, my boss, or the CEO at the time was Ladina Islander, who I found back in my life, if you like, with politics. I worked directly under Johnny Toto, who taught us how to build a brand. It's interesting. My colleague who was there with me, Francisca Opoku, she's the name behind Beauty Secrets. I don't know the shea butter. So what we learned there, we were meant to learn and to carry on.
Wow.
So I worked there for about 2 years, and then I got bored. I think I got bored. Yes, I got bored because SC Johnson started moving into import and sales. You know, production in Ghana is expensive. Sometimes it's cheaper to just import. And that is why we are where we are, because production is really expensive. If you ask the fabrics people, or their costs tends to be a lot higher than importation.
We will come to that because now you are also doing that as well. You're into production as well. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll touch on Brigitte the Beauty Queen, how you found yourself in Miss Ghana, how you found yourself in politics, and now a businesswoman. We'll be right back.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show. Our personality for the day, she says we should just call her Brigitte, you know, because the titles will fill a paragraph. So Brigitte is okay for now. So before we went, you know, we're talking about education and work and all that. How did you find yourself into Miss Ghana and become the eventual winner of that pageant?
That's interesting. So when we're in Legon, we all wanted something to do, and that's one thing I find the students now don't do. We all wanted to work. So there would be an international trade fair, and you go and man the stand. You get a little something, you know. PTC at the time, Pioneer Tobacco Company, who were the sponsors of Miss Ghana at the time. Imagine cigarettes sponsoring Miss Ghana.
I think all that time they sponsored almost everything because there was the Embassy
Club Pleasure and all that, remember?
So the double do was the dance championship and Miss Ghana.
Right.
Okay.
So they had this thing called social hostesses.
Okay.
So when they would have their events, we, the social hostesses, would have a case of cigarettes, and then you offer the patrons of the thing, and then they pick, you know, pick from
like
you.
Samples, or they
buy.
Okay,
they buy. And I guess people used to smoke a lot in those days, so it was a thing to do, and they'll dress you up nicely. So we were looking for jobs, a bunch of us from Volta Hall, my mates and I, and the social hostessing opportunity had come up. So we were invited to PTC to be interviewed.
Okay.
And I probably did not qualify because on the way back, and the gentleman who, the marketing manager at the time, we went there and then he dropped us all back in school. He's since passed away, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Akotia. He asked me, he said, don't you want to rather contest for Miss Ghana? Wow. And I said, no.
A girl from the barracks.
I know, and all that. I mean, that glamorous thing was never really. The interesting thing was one of my brother's friends, Jijo Amoa, had been Miss Ghana 1988, and she had asked me to contest after her, and I had turned head. I was petrified. I didn't think so. But I think we had to go back for an interview at PTC. But the one thing that Mr. Akotia said to me, which sealed it for me, was he said, "Oh, but you could win a car." And I thought, hang on.
The car is attractive.
I thought, no, that's
a catch.
Yes. So I thought, but look at me. I was skinny, you know, emaciated almost, you know, and I was a tomboy. The glamour, the, you know, glitz and glamour has never really been me.
Yeah.
So they're showing a picture of my skinny self.
Oh, yeah.
And this was after Miss Ghana, so you can imagine.
Wow.
Wow.
So I was a bit reluctant. So I told my father about it, who initially said, yes, go ahead.
Really?
And then I think he must have gone to his clubhouse where all the retired officers, he must have mentioned it to some friends of his, and they said, no, don't let her do that. You know, so he came back and he said, I don't think you should. And I said, well, I've already registered. So I was going to do it.
Did you feel intimidated?
To some extent, yes.
Yeah.
To some extent, yes. I was not streetwise. I wasn't, honestly, I was going with the flow. I was making up the number. If I won, fine. But I had made up my mind that, you know, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy myself. And I did. The 1 week that we were there, I enjoyed myself.
Super. You know, for time's sake, we can't really take all the details.
Okay.
But let's look at the night.
Okay.
When you were declared the winner.
So the night when I was declared the winner, I just decided, and that's what taught me that becoming Miss Ghana depended only on that night.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, yes, there was a prejudging, but if you performed well on that night, it wasn't about your looks, because there were other people, I think, who were much more beautiful than I was, who got better sponsorship, who turned out well. But it was the performance, you know, and a little bit of intellect, maybe, that won it
So
for
much
me.
of intellect. Right, so let's fast forward the whole story to now, Brigitte, the politician. With everything you said, how did you end up in politics?
Well, I think that I am a fairly vocal person. I speak my mind. I love Ghana.
Okay.
I love my country where I come from.
Yeah.
And in saying it, I even choke up. I love Ghana.
Yeah.
So, when Occupy had their demonstration on the 1st of July 2014, I was at home, but I was concerned about how quickly things were breaking down at the time. The week before, I think we didn't have fuel, and then in my house, we didn't have water, and a few other things, and it was just getting, I had had enough of it.
Yeah.
I had had enough of sitting on social media and griping and complaining. And therefore I decided I was going for Occupy. I had a friend who called me that morning. I said, I'm going for the demonstrations at Flagstaff House. And he said, listen, Brigitte, Flagstaff House is a security zone. If you go there and anything happens to you, you breach security. So don't go. So as I was sitting there and listening to radio, I heard that they were at Sutherland Park, and I said, "Oh, that is not security."
Yeah,
so
that we can all go.
I'm going.
Yeah.
So I went there, and as soon as I got there, one of the radio networks stuck a mic in my face. Oh, Brigitte is here, and then immediately the mic, because I had been on social media for oh, what do you have to say? And I ranted. I let it all out. I ranted. So I think. From there, my former boss, Ladi, must have seen me and thought, wow, this is somebody who would be good for, the PPP believes in women leadership, and all that. They wanted another woman in place of Eva Loco, may she rest in peace.
Yeah.
So many people have died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they asked me to run as running mates to Dr. Papa Kwesindo. And I do like the policies of the party. I do like the ideals of it. I love Ghana, like I said.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they are not so deeply partisan and it's only about the party. So yes, I was happy to go in there and make my voice heard. But not only make my voice heard, but also ask other people who are not your typical politicians to come on board and let's do something different.
Yeah.
That is why
it's so inspirational to see a woman, actively in politics and to be able to get a topmost position of it all. And I really admire you for that,
Thank you.
And
Just a quick one. That particular rant, was it a defining moment for you? Because after that, you were heavily criticized. Some people even sought to brand you as MPP.
You see, people will brand you as anything. If you see me talking now if you see my social media posts, you won't be branding me. The NPP people are insulting me. So, like I said, I love Ghana. Yeah. It's about Ghana. It's not about any party. Really, it isn't. And we must start seeing it for the good of our country rather than this party or that party or, It works for the politicians to divide us. But division never worked anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Division doesn't work anywhere. There's a bit of good in all of them. And that is what they should be promoting. But we all want to divide and, dwell on the bad bits. And it's not, we can see it's not taking us anywhere.
Clear.
yeah.
It's actually taking us back.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that you love your country, I believe that, through and through, because when I saw you at This Is Ghana, I was like, wow, because you took a stand and you are not, promoting anything but indigenous food, something really from your home. And I felt like, you couldn't have put in any better, Let's talk about the oil. Now, I have tasted. Can I be an official ambassador?
Please. Please, go ahead.
I have Ve in my kitchen. So when I'm talking about Ve, it's not that, you know, Brigitte is here and I'm just talking just to make her happy. I bought, it wasn't even a dash. I bought Ve, how do we pronounce? Flavor.
Ve flavor.
Ve flavor.
What does it mean?
Ve is a traditional area in the Afajato South district where I come from. One day, as I was traveling to Kumasi with friends, we were going for a funeral. Chris, Ruby, Martha, and I think. We stopped at one of those roadside markets. I think it was on the way back. And we were all buying stuff. And then one of them asked me, well, won't I buy engo oil? And I said, no. And she said, why not? Don't you want it? I said, listen, my mother brings me palm oil from the village, and that's what I use. And it tastes different. Then one of them said, I think it was Chris, who said, oh, then that would be very good oil. Tell her to bring us some.
Okay.
And then for Ruby, she would call me and say, do you have oil at home? Me beshuebi. You know?
Yeah.
So one day I was in a friend's office, Dr. Akwiti, Emmanuel Akwiti, and somebody called me and said, oh, they want palm oil. And then he said, don't you sell this thing? And I said, no. He said, if I were you, I'd start selling it.
Whoa.
And I thought, oh,
palm oil.
look at me, you know. But then I gave it a thought, a day or you know, over a period of time. The demands were still coming. When your mother comes, bring us some. And I thought, maybe if I do it nicely, brand it. And it also goes to empower the women who have been doing this and taking their pans to the Friday markets and putting it in rubber bag, you know. So I thought, maybe. And I started. I started at a time when the first 2 Kufuor gallons I bought went very fast.
Okay.
Then I brought 8 Kufuor gallons.
Whoa.
Then nobody was buying. And I thought, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So one morning I woke up. I prayed the night before. I said, God, help me sell this thing, you know. And I woke up and the FDA had a big headline story in the papers. All the palm oil in our city markets are adulterated. So then everybody started to call me. People, Brigitte, I hear you have palm oil from your village. I've just poured mine away.
Wow, see, I have good
Yes, and that is how it started.
Wow. Yeah.
So we package it differently. The cans are easy for travel. You can throw one into your suitcase and there's no risk of spillage. And the others, we also have it in the US now. So there's a shop in the US, Wiggs Global Foods. She's in Woodbridge if you're anywhere in Virginia, and you can go to
So
her.
Ve is gone international.
Oh yes, Ve, those little, small, little, 8 little towns. Our name is...
Yeah. But you still do sports? Are you still very active in sports?
Oh yes, I still play tennis.
Great.
I'm a member of the Accra Lawn Tennis Club.
Okay.
It's my happy place.
Ah.
I sit there, I play tennis and I sit there with the members, you know, a lot of men, but also a few women.
Yeah, maybe I should bring you a proposal, you know, to come participate in City Business Olympics.
Who would I be participating for? Just alone? Ve flavor?
No, I mean, the
Accra Lawn Tennis Club.
Can come as a group.
Yes.
Then we'll beat you people. Oh.
It's okay.
We'll beat everybody.
It's okay, at least we will learn.
But the thing is, there are members of the club who also
belong to other
companies. But there are some of us who are, we will come.
Yeah, why
I'll
not?
tell them. I'm going there. My racket is in the car.
Yeah, sure. Wow, now I'd love to see you, you know, doing the most.
Nice.
Come.
But Brigitte, we are wrapping up now, but next year we are going into elections, and I'm sure with all the things going on, police leaked tape, our roads are bad, we don't have water, the economy, the city, and
we
all
have
that.
water, we have galamsey ruin in it.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
we're
please
destroying
tell all of us something, you know, government, citizens, Ghana. Say something to us.
There's so much to say. I don't even know where to start. And like I say, I choke.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't give up. We are all capable. Let's stop looking up at a few people and or some one party
Yeah.
and hoping that it will change something.
Right.
You are also capable of changing something where you are.
As a Ghanaian, as an individual, what are you doing? What is your own contribution? And that is the question Brigitte Dzogbenuku is asking you today on the Upside Down Show. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue. But thank you so very much for spending your evening with us here on the Upside Down Show. We're so grateful.
Thank you. I mean, you are an inspiration, and not to only young women, to Ghana.
I hope that there are a lot of people watching, and especially my women in V.
Yeah.
They should see that they have made it on TV.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.